Hello everyone. The next is estimation of parameters. And in this case, we'll talk about interval estimation because the previous lecture was on maximum likelihood estimate, and this is the topic interval estimation now. We have so far estimated a population parameter by means of a single statistic. Such estimation by a single statistics is called point estimation. And a point estimate, when computed for an observed sample, is supposed to give a value somewhat close to the true value of the estimated parameter. Now, for an unknown population parameter, it is impossible to give any idea about the actual error in such estimation. We have to rely on the properties like consistency, unbiasedness of an estimate to treat it as a good estimate. But we are not in a position to say an inconsistent or biased estimate to be useless or unreliable one. This problem can only be satisfactorily tackled by the method of interval estimation or the method of confidence interval. In this method, actually, we are going to find an interval a comma b of a random variable whose both ends are random variable is constructed such that the true value of the parameter lies in this interval with some specified probability. Let's check for that. So let alpha be a population parameter and epsilon 0 less than epsilon less than 1 are given number. If there exist two statistics, a equal to a of x1 x2 xn and b equal to b of x1 x2 xn, such that probability of a less than alpha less than b equal to 1 minus epsilon. So there are two statistics I'm talking about. Those are both are functions of x1 sample values x1 x2 xn, and we can find a interval of alpha, the unknown population parameter, probability of a less than alpha less than b equal to 1 minus epsilon, where capital A is the random variable corresponding to the population statistic small a, and capital B is the random variable corresponding to the statistics small b. Then the interval AB is called an interval estimate or a confidence interval for the parameter alpha with confidence coefficient 1 minus epsilon. So this is your confidence coefficient where epsilon is very small. It's a number 0 less than epsilon less than 1. The statistics A and B are respectively the lower and upper confidence limits for alpha. Lower and upper confidence limits for alpha. Okay. So next we have to find, let us have some examples on that. So before that, okay, let me explain one more thing. For epsilon, actually, we have to choose epsilon. We usually, in our problem, epsilon chosen to be small, say 0.05. Epsilon can be chosen as 0.05 or 0.01 or 0.001, like this. You will find this type of criteria, right? So somewhat the confidence coefficient are, if you choose 0.05, 0.05, if you choose epsilon equal to 0.05, in that case your confidence coefficient will be 0.95. 1 minus 0.05, that will give you In that case, 1 minus epsilon will be 0.95, right? So what do you mean by or in the second case you have 0.99, and in the second case 0.999, etc. Like this, you can choose like this. So these are the corresponding confidence intervals being 95%. Corresponding confidence interval can be said as 95%, 99%, 99.9%, etc. These are called confidence intervals. For a 0.95% confidence interval, what is the interpretation of that? For a 0.95%, I am writing 0.95% confidence interval. What is the interpretation of that? That means you have chosen epsilon is equal to 0.05 and your confidence interval is 0.95%. We may roughly say that in repeatedly asserting that the parameter lies in the interval, in the confidence interval, for a large number of samples. For a large number of samples, we are liable to a risk of error only in 5% of the cases. We are liable to a risk of 5% of the cases, error in 5% of the cases. Okay, that was the interpretation of 0.95% confidence interval. 95% confidence interval. Now, note 1. It is possible to find many confidence interval for a parameter corresponding to a given sample and a given confidence coefficient. To compare the relative goodness of these, we can use the length of the interval b minus a as an inverse measure of precision of the interval estimate of two confidence intervals, the one having the same length or previously preferable. Okay, so let us have an application. Confidence interval for the parameter m for a normal m sigma population. So we have case 1, sigma unknown. If sigma is unknown, then how will you find out the confidence interval for a parameter m? So let x1, x2, xn be a sample of size n drawn from the given population. We choose the statistics that already you have learned in sampling distribution, that u equal to root over n, that is x bar minus m by sigma by root n. That follows standard normal distribution, right? And sigma by root n is the standard error of the sampling distribution of, right? So we choose the statistics this x bar minus m by sigma by root n because this follows standard normal distribution, where x bar is the sample mean that already known to you, and let capital U be the random variable corresponding to small u, corresponding to these statistics. It is well known that the sampling distribution of u is normal 0, 1. That already I have explained in the sampling distribution. That is, capital U is normal 0, 1 variate. Let epsilon, it's a very small number, it lies between 0 and 1, be a number. We shall find a confidence interval for the parameter m with confidence coefficient 1 minus epsilon, right? So now to numbers, minus u epsilon and u epsilon can be found such that probability of minus u epsilon less than capital U less than u epsilon equal to 1 minus epsilon. So I am replacing u by this statistics corresponding to this random variable. So that will be the form. This is the second line, probability of minus u epsilon less than, it is replaced by your statistics corresponding, random variable corresponding to the statistics, and less than u epsilon equal to 1 minus epsilon, where x bar, the random variable corresponding to small x bar, the sample mean, and x1, x2, xn are mutually independent normal m sigma variates. So if you simplify this, if you cross multiply and if you simplify your interval of m, because I want to find out the population parameter m, if sigma is known, so your interval will be given by x bar minus sigma by root n u epsilon less than m less than x bar plus sigma by root n u epsilon 1 minus epsilon. It's very easy to calculate, which shows that x bar minus sigma by root n u x bar, and x bar plus sigma by root n u x bar is a confidence interval for m with confidence coefficient 1 minus epsilon, where u epsilon is given by this probability of, it's given by the probability lies in the interval minus u epsilon to u epsilon, which is equal to confidence coefficient 1 minus epsilon. Now, due to symmetry of the normal 0, 1 distribution, let me draw the distribution once again for you. So it will be clear if I draw the diagram for you. So this is your standard normal distribution, right? Bell-shaped curve. It's not symmetry. Let me draw the symmetry diagram. Yeah, like this. It will be like this. Now this is suppose your u minus u epsilon, and this is your u epsilon, and this part is your 1 minus epsilon, right? This is your 1 minus epsilon, and this is your phi x, and this is your x. So this side you have epsilon by 2, and this side you have epsilon by 2, right? This side, left of u minus u epsilon, and right of u epsilon you have epsilon by 2. This region is epsilon by 2. Epsilon is a very small. So naturally this is symmetric about symmetric distribution. So due to symmetry of the normal 0, 1 distribution, this probability of this interval is given by twice probability of 0 less than u epsilon, that is equal to 1 minus epsilon, because you can take 0 to u epsilon, the same region from minus u epsilon to 0. So we can write twice of probability of 0 to u epsilon, that region, and that is equal to 0 less than u epsilon, 1 minus epsilon by 2. And this can be calculated by probability of u greater than u epsilon. That means this region, how will you calculate this region? This region will be calculated by 0.5, that is half minus probability of u greater than u epsilon, that is equal to 1 minus epsilon by 2, or probability of u greater than u epsilon and epsilon by 2. So these two regions are actually, these two probabilities are actually epsilon by 2, or the area under this region is given by u epsilon by 2. Epsilon is a very small positive number. So this is the thing you have, right? Okay. Now, so this is symmetrical confidence interval for m with confidence coefficient 1 minus epsilon is x bar minus sigma by root n u epsilon, comma x bar plus sigma by root n u epsilon, where e u epsilon is determined by this, u being a normal 0, 1 variate. So this is the confidence interval for a normal for a m, for the parameter m, if sigma is known to you. Now if sigma is unknown, what do you have to do? If sigma is unknown, we'll use the same process, but we'll use t distribution. So x1, x2, xn be a sample of size n drawn from the given population. We choose the statistics t equal to root n, same thing, but in case of sigma we have to use small s, okay, where small s is given by s square equal to n by n minus 1 s square, where s is capital S square being the sample variance. It is the sample variance. The sample variance is given by 1 by n, right? Xi minus x bar summation, okay? Summation xi minus x bar whole square, right? This is your sample variance. It is given by, and t be the random variable corresponding to bold t. It is given by bold t. You look at that, I have used a bold t by the random variable corresponding to small t. It is well known that the sampling distribution of t is a t distribution with n minus 1 degrees of freedom. So I am using t distribution, and already you know what is t distribution. So it's a little bit steeper. The graph will be steeper, and using the same process, because t distribution is also symmetric about the origin. And epsilon be a number, we shall find a confidence interval for the parameter m with confidence coefficient 1 minus epsilon. So it is given by minus 2 t epsilon to less than t epsilon. So let me draw the graph once again for you. If you have this, so t distribution will be much steeper like this. Okay, and this is your minus t epsilon. Maximum probability lies between t epsilon to t minus t epsilon to plus t epsilon. So this is the thing, right? This is the region, and this is the region for confidence coefficient and 1 minus epsilon, and this side you can show that epsilon by 2, and the probability of this side will be epsilon by 2, or the area under this region will be epsilon by 2. So this is your t distribution, right? And this is your origin, and this graph is also symmetric. So you have the similar result here also. So you have x bar minus s by root n t epsilon less than m less than x bar plus s by root n t epsilon 1 minus epsilon, and which shows that this is the confidence coefficient. X bar minus s by root n t epsilon, x bar plus s by root n t epsilon is a confidence interval for m. So you have the symmetrical result. Probability of t greater than t epsilon equal to epsilon by 2. Okay, so this is a symmetrical confidence interval for m with confidence coefficient 1 minus epsilon. So 1 minus epsilon is the confidence coefficient, and that will give you x bar minus s by root n t epsilon, comma x bar plus s by root n t epsilon, and probability of t bold t greater than t epsilon is given by epsilon by 2. So in case of sigma known, you have the result, and in case of sigma unknown, you have the result. So I have explained in my lecture today 2 examples. So I'm giving you assignment for that. You have to find out confidence interval for sigma. This is an assignment for all of you. Confidence interval for you have to use sigma. Confidence interval for sigma for a normal population, for a normal m comma sigma distribution, right? M comma sigma distribution. Okay, so you have to find out, and in that case I'm giving you a hint, that will be chi-square distribution. You have to use the chi-square distribution, and you know the diagram for the chi-square distribution. So that is an assignment for all of you, all my students and my YouTube subscribers. So this is an assignment for all of you. You try that, and this is the video lecture for your confidence interval. This is the interval estimation I have talked about, and I gave you 2 examples on that. Sigma is known, you have to find out the confidence interval for m, and sigma is unknown, you have to find out the confidence interval for m also, and you have to work in all if the confidence interval for sigma, if the for a normal m sigma population, and that will be based on the chi-square distribution. You have to find out that the chi-square distribution. Using chi-square distribution, you can draw that. I can give you the diagram for that also. So let me give you the diagram. With the help of that, you can draw the things also. So the diagram will be, I'm just giving you a diagram. You find out the interval. The diagram will be like this, right? And the confidence coefficient, confidence interval is given by this one. This is your chi-square epsilon 1, and this is your chi-square epsilon 2, and this is your 1 minus epsilon. This is the region where is the confidence interval. This is the region of confidence, and this is 1 minus epsilon, this probability. So this is your chi-square curve, graph of the chi-square distribution. Okay, so thank you all of you, and I will talk about some problems in the next lecture, and after that I will go to the testing of hypothesis. Thank you all of you.